It's the clubhouse, the clubhouse, the clubhouse. Old friends calling to play some games and hoping some new friends will do the same. It's a party in the clubhouse, the clubhouse.
Once upon a time, there was this dude. He had a television show inside a hospital for children and their families. Also streaming live on YouTube and www.starstudiomn.org. And this dude became what was called by many, not all, a regional treasure. He went on to live in greatness. The end. Yeah, all right. Hey, everybody. I just told a story. Who am I? My name's the dude. Awesome. Hey, you know, this is a really fun day. And by the way, I also want to shout out to Mr. Wizard, Broseph in the booth, also joined by friend. What's up? How you doing? By the way, I was just telling our guest, who we're going to meet in a little bit, who made that.
Awesome.
This is them.
That's amazing.
Look at you. Tell everybody your name, dude. This is Will and Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Yep. And we know you. Will's been on our show. Clearly, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's a TV regular, he is. Will, are you guys just swinging through, saying hi?
Yeah, we had a follow-up appointment.
Uh-huh. Well, we are totally live right now, as you know. You are a veteran of the screen, making several appearances on my show. And you wear, okay, so who I'm talking to is Will and his mom, and they made it, you work at a neon sign shop. Are you part owner, or what would you call
the owner of the Neon Factory.
Owner of the Neon Factory. That's right. And that, in the background, you can kind of sort of see it. They made me this. Right? It's kind of, we can't quite see it, but it says
Can't quite see it. We're almost there.
We're almost there. So anyway, thanks.
Well, oh yeah, here.
Oh, is this for me?
Yeah. Here's
No, stop it. Are you serious, broski? How do I turn it off to save the battery?
So there's a little switch in there. If you push this on and off, it turns it on and off.
Oh, there it is.
There you go.
Thank you, guys.
Welcome.
I like it.
Ta-da! Neon hats.
Neon hat. Unbelievable. And it's like, just like zigzaggage.
I don't know if it's a tornado or like a lightning strike.
Ooh, I like that. Lightning striking a tornado. That is literally how I would describe me.
Let's see it again. Light it up. Oh, sweet.
Dude, it's my new hat.
Wait, turn out the lights and do it.
Box for your new hat.
No.
Wait, wait.
There you go.
You guys, oh.
Do it again. Yeah, do it again. Oh, yeah.
Sweet. Well, thanks, you guys. Hey, do you know I'm a Lego now? Did you get my Lego?
Oh yeah.
You have it? Okay.
That's amazing in itself.
I know. I can't believe really? I gotta put this in here? Oh my gosh. I'll wear it during the special occasions type of shows.
That's so cool.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
A customer came in. This was made a while ago, and she used to use it teaching in her classroom, and she is now retired. And her name is Sally Bullitt, and she brought it in and asked if we knew a place where this hat could go, and so we knew the perfect place.
It is the perfect place. I like hats. I like hats that have some sort of electricity to them.
Yes, that glow.
The glow. I could wear it if I'm lost in the forest.
We will find you.
I won't be wandering around. Yeah, I'll just say, click it on and off. I'm
Yeah,
here, come
SOS.
rescue me. Will,
SOS.
please. Anyway, this is awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Well, you're free to hang out for a little if you're waiting.
We'll hang out for a little bit.
Oh my gosh. So, okay, so I got to get over this. Okay, I'll put this over here with my stuff. Can you believe that, Mr. Wizard?
That is so cool. That is generous and really nice. Yeah, you got 2 things now from them.
Yeah, I
So
know.
cool.
And technically, we can't accept gifts from patients' families, but
Right.
if they make you something,
Yeah, it's to the program, so
it's because you're going to be wearing it probably before the end of the show.
oh, for sure.
Mr. Wizard. Anyway, our guest. Oh my gosh, so so I got lost in thought, and I'm very flattered by my friend here. Hey, I told a story. It was called An Autobiographical Account of the Dude. It was a story about myself becoming like a regional treasure.
It was a good kind of summary. It needs to be fleshed out a bit, as they say.
Yeah, there wasn't really a middle. There was just the first thing I said and then the last thing I said, and nothing actually happened in the story. But we're going to learn how to tell stories, spin tales, if you will. And to start us off is indeed storyteller Katie Knutson. And here she is, and I'm going to let her just take it away. Go ahead.
Thank you, dude. All right, so this is a story from Norway, and one of the things that I do is I tell stories to adults, kids, and I tell stories from around the world, and I also tell stories that I've made up from my own life. So this is a story from Norway. Once upon a time, in a small town where everyone knew everyone else, a stranger came walking. He had a beat-up old hat, a tattered jacket, and his toes were sticking out through holes in the tips of his shoes. As he walked through town, he tipped his hat and smiled and waved at everybody. But they thought he was a beggar, so they averted their eyes and looked away. Well, this didn't seem to faze the man. He continued walking right through town to the biggest house in town. It was a large brick house with big white pillars and huge rose bushes in the front. And he knocked on the door. A woman answered. Hello. Oh. What do you want? Good day, ma'am. I'm traveling through town. I need a place to stay for just one night. Ugh, we don't take beggars here. Find somewhere else. And the mayor's wife slammed the door in his face. The man again seemed unfazed by this. He just turned and continued his way through town to the smallest house. Now, this house looked like if you pushed it real hard, it might even fall over. It was a tiny little house. But the biggest thing that was different was the sound, because he could hear the sound of children talking and laughing. He knocked on this door, and a much smaller person answered. Hello? Oh, Mommy, there's a stranger at the door. Soon a woman with long brown hair and kind brown eyes answered the door. Oh, hello, may I help you? Good day, ma'am. I'm traveling through town. I need a place to stay for just one night. Oh, well, we don't have much, but what we have is yours. Please, come in, come in. And she showed him into that house. The house, the entire house, was smaller than probably your own bedroom. There was a little area that was the kitchen with a stove and a sink. There was a couch and a table and a sewing machine and ironing board. And then there was one tiny room off to the side. The children were busy working. They had been cooking on that stove, stirring up a pot of beans. There was another child who had taken a piece of fresh bread out of the oven and was slicing that. Other kids were setting the table. He looked around, and although they were all moving, he thought he counted 7 of them. And they all sat down to eat. They passed around that one pot of beans, each person getting a single scoop, and then they each got one slice of bread. Do you think that's enough for a whole dinner? No. It was not. Their stomachs growled, but what they lacked in food, they made up for in conversation. You see, the man told the children about his adventures and his travels around the country, and the children told the man about all the fun things they did in town, all the cool adults who lived there and the people that you might want to avoid, and the fun places to play hide and seek or find treasures. Eventually, dinner time was over, and the woman turned to the man and said, "You may sleep in my room. I will sleep out here with the children." So the man went into that tiny little room. It was just big enough for a single mattress made of straw. And there was a sheet pulled over it. The man laid down on that sheet, and although the straw poked him, he eventually fell asleep. The next morning, when he woke up, all of the children were hard at work. You see, they didn't have a bedroom that they went to at night. Instead, they had taken that entire living space and pulled out baskets and boxes, pulled out pillows and blankets and mats, and transformed that room into one giant bedroom. And now, when the man woke up, he watched as those children tucked the last little bits of the blankets away. Others were in the kitchen stirring a pot of oatmeal. The woman asked him, "Would you like to join us for breakfast?" "Oh, thank you, ma'am, but I must be going." He took his hat from the wall and put on his jacket. "I would like to thank you, though, for your generosity and kindness." He reached into his pocket and he pulled out a pine cone. Now, this woman had been given pine cones many times before, mostly by her children. She had never been given a pine cone by an adult. "Thank you," she said. "Ah, you don't understand. For you see, this is a magic pine cone, and the first thing you do today will be multiplied by 1,000. Well, the woman didn't think much of magic. She set it down and thanked the man, and then went to work. Because while her children had been working hard, she had also gotten to work. You see, she was a seamstress, and each day she would take one piece of cloth, and she would iron that cloth and sew that cloth until she got something that she could sell at the market. And once she had that thing, she would sell it, try to buy one more piece of cloth, and then enough food to feed her children that night. Well, the man showed himself out, and the woman went back to work. She went over to her ironing board, she picked up the piece of cloth she'd been working on, she shook it out, and then she brought it over to the table where she was going to cut it. But she went back to get her scissors, and when she looked at the ironing board, there was a second piece of cloth. This first one had been a plain cotton, but the second one, this was thick wool. A red plaid. She shook it out and set it down, and when she went back, there was a third piece of cloth. This one, satin, yellow. She shook it out and set it down. This happened over and over and over again until her house was filled with 1,000 pieces of cloth. With that cloth, she had enough to be able to make clothes for all kinds of different people at the market. And her children never went to bed with their stomachs growling again. Exactly 1 year later, that same man came walking through town with that beat-up hat, that tattered jacket, and his toes sticking out through holes in the tips of his shoes. But remember, this was a small town. And in a small town, it doesn't take long for word to spread. And so everyone had heard of this woman's good fortune. When they saw the man, they smiled at him and waved and said, "Oh, hello, come, do you need a place to stay tonight?" No, you should stay with me. My house is much better." "Oh, no, come to my house. Oh, I will feed you a brand new chicken. We will butcher it today." But again, the man seemed like he was unfazed. He tipped his hat, smiled and waved at them, and continued on through town to that big brick house with the white pillars. He knocked again on this door. And again, the mayor's wife answered. "Hello? Oh, I remember you. Do you need a place to stay? Would you like to come in? I will give you a 7-course meal and you will sleep in the finest feather bed." And she didn't lie. He had a great meal that he enjoyed in silence as the woman just looked at him. And then that night, he stretched out on this huge bed that was so soft he fell asleep like that. The next morning, when he got up, the mayor's wife had already been hard at work as well. You see, she had taken all of their gold. She put it off in a room where the man wouldn't see, but she had piled it so she could go and count that gold and watch it multiply before her eyes. "So, how'd you sleep?" she asked as the man came down the stairs. And before he could even answer, she said, "So do you have anything for me, a pine cone or something to thank me because I've been so generous and kind?" Yes, as a matter of fact, I would like to thank you." He picked up his jacket off the floor and put on his hat. Before he could even tell her about the pine cone, she snatched it from his hand and said, "You can show yourself out." And then she began to walk towards that pile of gold. The man did as he was told. He took his jacket and let himself out. And that woman, she began to walk. But there was something that she hadn't expected. Remember those rose bushes in the front of the house? Well, they were in full bloom, and there was a gentle breeze blowing in the smell of those roses, and just a little bit of pollen came in with one of those breezes, and it lodged itself in her nose. She sneezed not once, not twice, not even the customary 3 times. She sneezed 1,000 times. By the time she was done sneezing, she had collapsed on the floor. Her eyes were swollen shut, her nose was raw, her throat was sore, and she was surrounded by a pile of handkerchiefs. It didn't take long in this town for word of this woman's misfortune to spread either. In fact, eventually the story even got back to the man with the beat-up old hat, the tattered jacket, and his toes sticking out through holes in the tips of his shoes. When he heard the story, he smiled, patted his pocket full of pine cones, and continued on his way to the next town.
Wow. Okay, grab a chair, Katie. Let's have I like to call the chatting segment. Oh, I'm wearing sunglasses. I was wondering, why can't I see? Tell us more about what, is there a, let's talk about, can we talk a little bit about,
You okay there?
yeah, the story has a moral to it,
Yeah.
but I don't know what it is.
You don't?
Well, I'm pretending I don't.
Okay, all right, cool. Well, I mean, I think if you think about, the nice thing about stories is that different people will get different things from them.
Of course, right.
So some people will hear that story and think one thing, and some people will hear the story and think another thing. So I'm curious, what did you hear in the story?
Oh, this dude he was wearing a hat like the one I got from Will, but
Yes.
it's not as nice.
No, not nearly as nice. No, it definitely did not light up.
And that he was like with these kind of poor people that worked hard and were innocent and good people and stuff. He left them with like good fortune. And then when he came and stayed with the mayor's wife, she sounds like a real, anyway.
Not the kind of person you'd want to hang out with.
It's a name that starts with K and rhymes with rarin. You know what I mean? And then because she was like so selfish and like, oh, are you, yeah, why not? She actually she had bad fortune.
Yeah.
Because her intentions were not pure.
Yeah.
And she expected to be rewarded because she had money and a feather bed and stuff.
Yeah. And yeah, she wanted the thing, right? But she didn't actually care about the actions she was taking. Right?
I like how you said, and she went to work, like kind of like the kids went to work, but she was hiding all of her money.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So how does one, I mean, I like to say I can tell a good story.
Okay.
Mr. Wizard, would you agree? Does that
Sure
mean
can. Yeah, that's an affirmative.
Oh, that's a good sound. Okay, wasn't sure. Will, I tell a good story, right? Mom? I really need other people's approval, and I'm working on that. Anyway, let's see. What makes a good story? You got to tell. You got to share about who it's about.
Yeah,
the character.
Yep. I always say you have to start a story with the characters and the setting, and then pretty quickly you introduce a problem, because a story without a problem is really boring.
Right. So my story that I told at the beginning, once upon a time, there was this dude who was on TV in a hospital, and YouTube and our website. That's just an aside. That's called an aside. And he became a regional treasure. Now you know we're in a hospital. We're talking about the dude, and now there's a problem, right? I have to introduce a problem.
Right. Yes.
Okay. So
yeah, there wasn't a problem before.
And right, I was fine. And then he always had a challenge, and that was his coworkers.
Are you talking about the people in the booth right now?
Well, I mean, it's just a story, guys. Don't take it personal.
Okay.
Don't take it personal. And they were always making life more difficult for this guy. You know,
That would be a problem. Yeah.
that's a problem. On a daily basis, pretty much hour by hour, holding his true talents back.
And so then the question is, what were the specific things that they were doing that held back his talents?
Right. So, like, how would you narrow everything down to one thing?
I mean, you could just pick one or two, you know? Like,
Yeah, we're curious back here. We're very curious.
Well, let's not get wrapped up in the deets. Although, if this were a real story,
yeah, you'd want to get wrapped up in the details,
details,
because that
the
makes
guy's
it
hat,
more interesting.
his tattered coat, his
Yeah.
toes coming through, you know, those details mattered. And the fine cloth, and the kids, and the beans, and the, you know, I was like, you know, I don't know if I'd stick around for dessert after that meal.
Well, there wasn't any,
You know what
so
I mean,
you
Mom? Well, at any rate, and then you have to wrap it up. So the problem gets solved
yeah.
somehow,
Right.
if it's a story you want to hear. Sometimes it's a story that, oh, what are we looking at here, Mr. Wizard? This is great.
This
Tell
looks like
us.
a story mountain.
I'm sure our author has some ideas about this chart here.
Yeah, this is, I use a variation of this every time I teach storytelling or story writing. So basically what is happening there is you've got, on the bottom, you've got the beginning, middle,
Where you
and
start,
end.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's like what happens in the story.
Beginning.
And so in the beginning of the story, it says plot and inciting incident. So this, for younger kids, I would just say the problem, but inciting incident is a fancier way to say the problem. And then usually in the beginning, you also introduce the characters and the setting. And then the middle is there's rising action, and the climax is the most exciting part of the story. That is, you know, when the big bad wolf comes to the third little pig's house,
Yeah,
right? Or
yeah.
Something like that. And then after that, you have the falling action. And on the side there, it says tension, and that's a great word. I like think of that being excitement as well. So the story should get more exciting as you go, because if it just starts off, you know, I wanted a glass of milk, and then I went and I got a glass of milk, and I drank it, there's no inciting incident or problem, there's no climax, there's no I guess there is a resolution, but there's not really anything to care about, right?
Yeah.
But if I go to the kitchen and I say, I want a glass of milk, and I go to the kitchen and I open up the fridge and I take out my milk and it pours in chunks, I have a problem.
Yeah.
Or if
Or
I
I
open
spilled
up,
it all over Mr. Wizard.
yeah, or I open up the fridge and it's a portal to a new universe, right? Like there's a lot of different ways you can make a problem. It can be a very small problem, from like my milk has gone sour, to a big one like there's a portal to another universe.
Yeah, it's cool. You know, like in the Lord of the Rings and stuff, the story was so big that there was a story that became before it.
Mm-hmm.
They had to explain the history of the ring. You remember that, Will? Did you watch that movie? You know about it, yeah. Mr. Wizard?
I haven't watched it, or read them. I'm sorry.
Broseph?
I've seen a bit, but not all
What's
of
wrong
it.
with you people?
Sorry, I know it's like a
Literally
cultural
the most epic, amazing story in the history of storytelling.
touchdown. Everything. It's
All the
huge.
things.
It's huge.
Well, I'll just tell you, there is a whole section narrated by Cate Blanchett. Have you seen it?
I have, although I do think that the Hobbit is my favorite of the movies.
Oh, yeah. There's a whole nother, yeah. But what my point is, it's such a big story. It covers so many characters and lands and languages and all of these things and battles and it's overwhelming where they have to kind of do a short, I think it's called a prologue.
Yeah, or a prequel. Yep.
Or a oh man, I had it down. Prologue, or whatever.
Prologue,
But it's a small story that happens before the big story, so at least you get an idea of what we're talking about.
Yeah, especially with something like the Lord of the Rings, because in that story they're doing something called world building. It's not just I'm going to my own kitchen and you probably can imagine your kitchen. It is actually a whole world that has its own, hierarchy of elves and dwarves and there's different characters that we need to learn about and different worlds that we need to learn about within that in order for the story to make sense. So that's another aspect of that particular story that makes you need things like that. Because if I just said, one day at the zoo, most of us can picture the zoo. But if I say one day on the planet Bleep Blop in a faraway galaxy, I need to tell you more about the planet Bleep Blop.
I'm kind of more of an elf.
Yeah? I could see that.
Well, they're typically dashingly good looking and really good, and they live for like 1,000 years.
And they ride horses very majestically, like you do with your chair.
Yeah. Yep. Look at me. Majestic. That's what I see. There's storytellers, there's actors, and actors are storytellers. So there's some acting going to be coming up in here with the acting challenge. Just write it down in the notes. Let's get 10 more seconds on that intro, please. Thanks, guys. Okay, here we go. I've got to get my thing ready here. All right, so this is how this works.
All right.
I have somebody gave this to me. It's not like I would not buy this. Carry along treasury of princess stories. Okay, it has a handle for you readers on the go. All right, and inside, oh looky, I have a bunch of suggestions and accents and characters. I'm gonna take this one out. Like a Louisiana politician from 1930. How would you even do that? Well, I do declare that this bill shall be passed in Congress. Man, that's actually not bad.
Well, that's doable.
I'm gonna keep it in. But you haven't seen these.
I have not.
You brought some for me.
I did.
I have not seen those. I have not.
No.
All right. Rock, paper, scissors to see who goes first. Ready?
Okay, rock, paper, scissors,
1, 2, shoot.
Okay.
1, 2, shoot.
1, 2, shoot. Oh, okay. All right.
Yep. Wait, I think paper beats scissors because it can wrap itself around it and, Okay, wrong. Okay, I guess I'll go first. We're gonna start at the tippy top. Ooh, it's Disney's very first movie, Snow White.
You need a suggestion on how you're going to read this?
Yeah, you have
Okay,
one? Well,
yeah,
do you want to just give one to me?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so you're going to start off as Abraham Lincoln.
Got it, because I literally know how he talked. A long time ago, an evil queen tried to kill a young princess. He kind of said his eshish like that. Named Snow White. She was jealous of the young girl's beauty and goodness. 77 years ago, Snow White escaped into the woods and found safety with 7 dwarfs. That was too much on that one, right? Okay. They loved the sweet princess, getting worse, and promised to protect her from harm. In return, Snow White cooked and cleaned for her new friends. Mary, would you like to go see a play tonight? Okay, let's move on.
Ready for new character?
No, it's your turn now.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Let's go to the critics, please. Starting with Mr. Wizard.
I like how you did like a mashup of actual history, sort of, historical fiction there, mashed it into the text. That was nice.
Awesome. Will,
I liked the parts with the S's.
the parts that went the sh part. Okay, Mom, opinion?
Is that Mary actually his wife?
Mary Todd?
Nice.
Yeah.
Four score. Really
Yeah, pulled it all in. Really sold the character. All right. Thanks, you guys. I think I got the job. Okay. Oh, not that one. Oh, there's one in here that I think would be funny. How are you with accents from around the world?
I'm usually terrible.
Okay,
Probably offensive.
great. So let's try Swedish. Yeah. Think of Swedish Chef a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
So real stereotypical. If you're 100% Swedish out there,
Apologies in advance.
apologies in advance. Please don't be offended.
Even if you're 10% Swedish, this is going to be awful.
We're going to have to sign a waiver that you won't cancel us.
All right.
Take it away. Swedish.
The true love's key. That's more like a vampire.
Oh, yeah,
that was.
That's a little further south in Transylvania.
Yes. Yeah.
Just
It's
go
like
for it.
ultra Minnesotan, right? Like, true love's kiss. One morning, and it's still, I become a vampire. See, I told you.
Well, you get vampire from Sweden.
A Swedish vampire. A Swedish. One morning, an old woman offered Snow White a big red apple. Snow White innocently took a bite and fell to the floor. The jealous queen had discovered herself and poisoned the princess. Ja. The sad dwarfs placed the lovely girl on a golden platform and stood watch over her. One day, a princess rode through the woods. He saw Snow White and knelt to kiss her. Yeah, her eyes fluttered open, and she knew at once he was the prince of her dreams.
Okay, all right. I feel like that was a Swedish person that spent some time in Romania.
Yes,
You know-
that was definitely.
You know, if you move to Boston, you kind of maybe get that accent over there, you know?
Yep.
Or if people that come to Minnesota that are from
Yes.
another one, they never start speaking with a Minnesota accent because it's, yeah. Anyway, I thought that was fantastic. I need a new one. And we're going to move on, by the way, to
right.
Cinderella.
Okay, I want you to do this as a kid who has lost all 4 front teeth.
Do that again, Will. Give me help. It's a hard knock life for us. Okay. I think I got it. Okay. Cinderella, here we go. The prince fell in love with the moment they saw Cinderella. A couple could dance until the clock began to strike 12. Cinderella knew the magic spell was about to be broken. Off she ran, leaving one sparkling glass slipper behind. I think there was some other things going on with that guy. Anyway, you're going to read that next paragraph.
Okay, as?
First, Will, how did I do? I didn't lose my teeth the front 4 at the same time. It was usually top or bottom or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's such a crazy thing. We lose our teeth, you know?
Do I have like another set when we're older? You know, like I would love to get a new set of teeth now that, you know, is healthy and strong again, like brand new.
Yeah, 3rd set, that'd be sweet.
Okay. Like you're an old woodcutter living alone in the woods in the 1800s.
In the 1800s, okay.
An old woodcutter from the 1800s that lives alone in the woods.
The prince announced that he would marry a girl whose foot fit the slipper. After Cinderella's stepsisters tried in vain to fit into the shoe, her stepmother caused it to break before Cinderella could try it on. But Cinderella still had the other slipper. She and the prince married, and they lived happily ever after.
angry woodcutter.
Yeah, he was.
He was like a hermit woodcutter who did not want visitors to come nearby.
Okay. I got one. We're going to do one more each.
Okay. I think I've got it. Yep, so you are going to be a scared squirrel.
I think, Will, you should do it. Oh, we're on to Beauty and the Beast. Perfect.
Ooh, okay.
Because squirrels are beasts.
One day a young girl named Belle was taken prisoner by a beast in an enchanted castle, and the beast seemed fierce and cruel. But the other members of the household became Belle's friends.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, you guys. Oh, okay, Katie, here's the last one.
Okay, I'm ready.
Oh. Read it like me, the dude.
Oh boy, okay.
Okay, we haven't met, but we only met like, wait, what?
Man, you gave me a hat earlier, and I don't have it with me. Okay, just imagine a hat. Here. Okay. All right. Okay. Wait. All right. So the beast. Hang on. Just. Okay. Does this? Yep. Okay. All right. So the beast grew very fond of Belle, and wanted to please her, and invited her to dance with him under the stars. Belle realized that the beast had a kind heart and began to enjoy his company too. We just met, so I don't know. How was that?
Well, like, I think the voice was good, but I don't like. Well, yeah, I do.
I was just noticing your gallantry with the chair earlier, so I thought that was my.
I thought you did great, and we say it's an acting challenge, but you know who the winners really are? You, the audience. Aww. Okay. All right.
But Will, I'm curious, Will, how do you think I did, knowing the dude better than I do?
Will, come on, that was a satire of me. It was like me, but not me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a tired you.
I tired him.
Tired me?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. All right. Oh, this is fun. We're going to get back to storytelling. All right, acting challenge is over now. Ta-da. Okay, we're going to go back to storytelling in a segment we're going to call Build a Story. Look at that.
Nice.
By the way, that was put together by Mr. Wizard. And Broseph, did you do it too?
That was a Wizard exclusive.
Wizard exclusive, just did it like about an hour ago.
Nice. Nice.
I like the jazziness to it. Mm-hmm. Well done. All right, suggestions from patients. We're gonna try to take these and weave them into a story. Are we gonna write this down, or just kind of, are you gonna pump you full
we'll
of?
just talk through it.
Okay.
Yeah, well, so this is actually a writing technique, though, is that if you tell your story before you write it, you actually get rid of your first draft usually, because once you've talked through it, you can then remember what you said rather than having to make it up on the spot while your pencil is moving across the paper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So like what?
So if you want to write a story,
I'm kidding.
talk about it first. That's all.
Okay, yeah, right. Okay, so I tried to get what we had. What you were asking for was like a person, like a caricature, and it could be anything.
Mm-hmm.
Could be an object, you know, like the little toaster that kind of thing, or it could be a person. Whatevs. And then there was like a problem, and then like you say, then how is it solved or whatever? Or
Yeah,
no,
and we did a
location.
setting too. Yes.
A setting.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so I actually learned this from a second grade teacher. She called them CSP stories. You get the character, you get a setting, and you get a problem. And then we kind of play with that. So you got some characters from the kids, right?
Okay. Yeah, so let me just go through Travis, Hot Wheels. Okay. Kenzie, Moana and pizza. Okay. A Canadian accent. Yeah. I don't know what you're talking
Canadian.
about. Eh?
Okay.
We're out and about.
I think there would definitely be a character that has maybe the bike. We haven't gotten to the bike yet. But
Yeah,
maybe the
McKenna-
bike has a Canadian accent.
McKenna playing at the park is one of her things. So the park could be like a setting that we go to. James loves his bike, as you mentioned,
Yeah.
and also at going to the lake.
Okay.
So lakeside could be a thing. And then Ava, butterflies could be a character, and a sleepover also possibly have something to do with our setting. Did you have those down?
I do. I don't have the Canadian accent, but I think we'll remember that one.
No, your specialty is Swedish.
Yes, perfect. That flawless Swedish accent like that. All right. Would you like me to start?
Yeah.
Okay.
Will, are you going to help? Just tell the story. Let's get him a mic, guys. Please and thanks.
All right.
You need a
We'll start-
microphone.
We'll start. We'll
if
get
you
you a
want to,
mic.
you can come up here and just chill out there. I don't know. You'll follow along. We're just going to kind of make up a story. Even if it's just one sentence, you can
Yep.
just make up a little bit.
We'll start it off for you, and then you can kind of figure out what the like kind of how it goes. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Thanks, man.
So one day, Moana was bored out of her mind. She had done all the sailing. There really wasn't a good wind for sailing. She had been, playing at the park. She went to the lake. There was nothing that was really exciting for her that day. And so she decided she would talk to one of her friends. Take it over.
Yeah. And the two of them started to talk and said, let's make this a really fun day. Let's get on our bikes and go to a part of the island that we've never been to before.
Is that a party island? A part of the island.
Part of the.
Okay, nice.
Well, party island sounds good too.
That'd be pretty fun too.
Yeah. Love to party on an island. Anyway, so let's go to part of the island that we've never been to before. Moana's friend said, but wait, Moana, your father, the king, has forbidden us to go to that part of the island.
Ooh. Will, do you want to jump in? What happened next?
So after a while,
You get a mic.
oh yeah, after a while, yeah, I'm just kidding. Okay, so after a while, they decided to go do stuff. So even though the king did, they refused to. Yeah, never mind. I lost. Dang it.
Did they go to the part of the island that they weren't supposed to?
Yeah.
Okay. That's good enough.
All right, cool.
That's right.
No, and at the part of the island, they met someone that looked like Maui, except it wasn't Maui. It was his Canadian brother. Yay.
Nice. Try it to the Canadian. Maui's
Canadian brother looked at them and said, oh yeah, what are you doing here? Don't you know that you're not supposed to be in this part of the island? This is not for children. You gotta go home right now. I got a sleepover plan tonight, and all of my Canadian friends are coming, and if there's any children, it's not gonna be good. So you gotta go on, go home. But Moana and her friend, who doesn't have a name yet, can we give her friend a name? Jameson. All right, so Moana and her friend Jameson, they were a little worried because, Maui's big, and so Maui's brother was also big. Wearing plaid, but big. And they didn't want to mess with Maui's brother. So they got on their bikes and they turned to go away, but they couldn't leave quite yet because now they wanted to know, what does an adult Canadian sleepover party look like? So they hid in the bushes.
Yeah. And so they were just watching what was going on and stuff. And Maui's brother was like, hey, what can I say except you're welcome, eh? And Moana's like, oh, he breaks out into song like his brother. Well, the night went on and they stayed. And then Hey, her pet hen, came running up and was like, clunk, 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 clunk. He's always like that. And that meant that the king was on his way to find them in the part of the island that they weren't supposed to go to. So what happened next is the craziest thing you ever heard. Go ahead, Will.
So after a while, so finally the king came. He looked at Moana, then he looked at the beach with the sleepover. Apparently, apparently he only came because he wanted to do the Canadian party. So he started singing with Maui's brother and saying, "Hey, hey, 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 it's a Canadian sleepover, hey." Yeah.
Okay.
And then they busted out into "Oh Canada," and they were singing these beautiful Canadian songs. And as the common part of any Canadian sleepover is that they would bust out Hot Wheels. So they got out their Hot Wheels and they started to like zoom their Hot Wheels back and forth, but it was a beach and an island, so the sand got stuck in the wheels, and they realized this was not much fun. But they saw these two little kids' bikes over to the side, and they said, "Oh yeah, I bet we could do something fun with those, eh? How about we go check those out and we see how much fun we can have with the bikes."
Yeah. Right. And then so then there were those bikes around, and then those bikes magically became butterflies. Magical island butterflies. And they flew around the island, and they realized, we don't need to go to the place where we shouldn't be going anymore. The places where we can go, they're beautiful enough. So they came back to the village, and the butterfly bikes turned back into bikes. And Moana said to Jameson, this turned out to be the greatest day ever, the end.
There we go.
That's how you do it. All right. Well, that was fun. We took just elements and improv. Good. Give it up for Will, too.
Yeah.
He worked in the Canadian brother. All right.
And I love that the Canadian song was just, hey, 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 hey.
Hey, hey, hey,
Oh,
hey.
oh, hey, oh,
Hey,
hey.
hey.
Oh.
All right.
It was about the chicken. Yeah, it was about the chicken, right?
Yeah. All right, here's the deal. We're going to do there was Hot Wheels included in that.
Yeah, let's do this.
Well, we're going to do something involving Hot Wheels. Perhaps, Will, if you want to help us, in a segment called Gone in 60 Seconds. Yeah. I'll be green. Okay.
See how to go in here.
Here, why don't you come come on over this by Katie.
Come stand by me.
So what we're gonna do is, if we get a shot from overhead,
Okay, 3 each, or more?
just as many as you can find.
Oh.
Okay. I have some lines down at the end of the table. Okay.
Here's an orange.
Yeah, more black. Okay. And we're gonna play basically Hot Wheels shuffleboard. Excuse me. Yeah. I need more.
Yeah. That's a green one.
Green.
Though. Yeah, that's green.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay.
I have a lot.
It's a little bit of blue.
I'm also gonna take black.
Black? All right.
Yeah. All right. Each of us have our own color, right? Okay. So we're gonna start off. Now
Is
you're
that
gonna
black
put.
or blue?
We're good.
All right.
Okay, let's move yours this way. Okay.
Can you push the table over a little bit?
Where?
We'll give you a visual here. Go ahead, hit it. Other way, actually.
Oh, back.
Yeah. Frame them up where you want them.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Pretty good?
Go over there. That's pretty good.
Okay. All right, Will, you're gonna start first. Okay. If you can cross the first line, you get a point. Okay. Second line, you get 2 points. Third line, 3. If it goes off the end, no point. Oh, man. Get one at a time. Go ahead. Well, right off the bat. Okay, now, guest, Katie Knutson.
Yes.
You're up next now. You can bring a car, put it over there from the landing spot there.
All right.
Oh,
It's not going very far.
Sorry. All right, now my turn. Okay, now, all the cars are in play. So if I hit your car and it gets into the thing, Here, why don't we rotate, like come around? Here we go. Ready? Darn it. Okay. Will. No, you can launch from wherever, but this is kind of typically like the middle part is where you want to. Whoa. Yes, thank you. I knew you were a good friend. Whoa.
Oh!
Okay.
Man.
That had a little bit of.
Too much, too much.
Mr. Wizard, do you mind like doing a little sports commentary type of character? Like, here we are live in Star Studio with the great, you know what I mean?
Sounds like you got it. Next up is the dude. He's gonna choose his hot rod, and it is gonna be the, I can't see it, mini bug there. Let's see what he's got. Revving that engine up.
Oh.
Ooh, it took
And takes a veer to the right and off of the table.
No, I think you're up.
This one came from Canada. Yeah, Canada.
Canada. Okay. Is that like Canada?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, here he goes. Whoa.
Oh.
And off the table again.
Well, that might be points. Yeah, that's
Katie
3.
Knutson
That's
with 3
3.
points. Well done.
That is 3. What's the score, Mr. Wizard?
The blue cars have 3, and the red and green are tied with 1. I believe that's Katie. So Katie's in the lead with 3.
Oh, this one's really cool. I might want to keep this one. This one, they all have like names, you know? This one's cool. This one's Malaysia.
I think that's where it was made.
Please.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
Amazing turn of events. The dude pulls ahead with 4.
I'm a really good sport, though.
All right.
Katie Knutson coming up with the SUV.
Oh.
And just over the edge.
Is it my turn already?
Yep.
All right, 2 more rounds.
Dude currently in the lead. Checking out the green car.
Whoa, that one's not even a
Veering
real
off to
Hot
the
Wheel.
left.
It's one of those generic ones, man. Darn it.
The double-decker
Yeah.
bus.
Oh, whoa. Dude, oh, wow, you guys are doing it. You know, there's a little bit of a touch you got to put on it, you know?
Next up, Katie Knutson in the police car.
Watch out.
Yeah.
I'm watching you speed.
Oh,
A little bit too much.
I should have been watching my speed. You're right.
Okay, just remember, I'm also black. Okay, I'm the black color.
I keep trying to hit my blue car over. It's not working.
Slow down. You're moving too fast. Okay, this is the final round. Oh.
Oh, okay. I gotta go with this guy.
Very exciting
This is
finish,
like-
final round.
Missing half of it, I think.
Katie Knutson in the semi-truck. Here we go.
Nope.
She knew
Over
it.
the
She knew it
edge.
as soon as it left her fingertips. All right. This is it, right, Mr. Wizard?
The dude with his hot rod. Here it goes. And it bumps, and it stays on for 3.
Did you get that photo finish there? That half on, half off? That's
I
impressive.
don't know what the score is, but I won by a lot.
Yeah.
You guys did not.
Correct. We bow to the dude.
Thanks, Will. All right. Here we go. We're going to close this out with a final quick story
Yeah.
by Katie. Here, let's get rid of this.
Okay. Ooh, are
Oh,
we
somebody
locked?
put the brake on, yeah. And here we go. Guys, we're out of time. Sorry. What a fun. Oh, we have to skip
Yeah, we have
We had a whole
so
nother
many
thing
things planned.
Shoot. Thanks, Will. But we're out of time. We don't. And they made a graphic for it. I feel bad.
It's all right. We got it in there.
We got it in the. Yeah.
What do you want to do that one instead, or
No,
do you
the
want
short. Let's do the short one that you were going to close it out with.
Okay.
Will, don't worry about that. I'll do it after the show. You can just sit. Go and sit. Come on.
Come on forward a little bit into the light. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Oh, take it away,
Will you
Katie.
with me for the story? You
Nope.
can if you want.
Nope.
Okay. All right. So once there was a woman, and every day she would get up and take these 2 pots, and they had ropes on them. She would put a stick underneath those ropes. She would hoist them up onto her back and walk with these 2 pots all the way to the well. She would fill up those 2 pots and come on home, and then one of the pots was always full, and the other one usually just had a little bit of water left. And every day there was a little less and a little less water left in that second pot because there was a big crack in its side, and that crack seemed to grow every day. Now, this was in the time when inanimate objects could still talk, and so that pot looked at that woman and said, you know what, I am cracked, and I barely carry any water anymore. Please, please, just replace me. Find a different pot. Let me retire in the garden. The woman looked at that cracked pot and said, you don't understand, do you? Watch today when we go to the well. And so again, she took those 2 pots, the one that was complete and without any cracks, and then the one that had the crack in it. And she put the stick in between them, she hoisted it up on her shoulders, and she began to walk to the well. They got there, and she filled up both pots with water, and she turned and began to walk back. She turned to that pot as it dripped the water from the side, and she said, do you notice anything? The pot looked around. On one side of the road, the path where they would walk to and from the well every single day and meet many other people from their village going to and from the well every single day. On one side, it was barren. There were some rocks and some sand and some dirt, but nothing else. But on the side where this pot was, there were wildflowers growing all along the path. And this pot looked, there's flowers. Yes, the woman said. That is why I bring you to the well every single day. I know you aren't going to come home with me as a full pot, but every day we water these flowers so that every single day I and everybody else walking to and from the well can see this beauty, and it lightens our load a little bit. So no, I will not replace you, and I'm going to keep bringing you to the well every single day.
And then she decided to switch hands so the other part of the road got watered.
She could do that too.
Well, that's a very sweet story, actually. Thank you very much. Also, big shout out to, we should say thanks to COMPAS, right?
Oh, yeah.
This great arts organization that helps bring teaching artists and performers to Star Studio, as much like they would do in schools or residencies and things like that. This has become a destination for them. Also, shout out Will, Mom, and oh boy, Mr. Wizard and Brosif. Ooh, solid 3 out of 5.
Nice. We'll take it.
You guys met expectations, and they were. Also, we're not done today. 2 o'clock, bingo. With interpreter, Melissa is going to help me. We're celebrating interpreters. I celebrate interpreters all the time. And I'm also back on tomorrow for a really fun show at 11 with a guest I can't remember. Oh, yeah. Nirmala Rajasekar. She is a very, also COMPAS.
Oh,
You know
nice.
her?
No.
Oh, my gosh. She plays what is called the veena. People are like, oh, it's a sitar. No. It's a veena. It's an ancient stringed instrument from India. And she is masterclass at it. So we'll be having some cool vibes in here tomorrow, dude. Yeah, okay. I'll see you at bingo at 2. Let's have some fun with it. You know what I mean? Bye.
It's the clubhouse, the clubhouse, the clubhouse. Old friends calling to play some